I saw this graphic recirculating recently, and I remember seeing it a ton right after Roe v. Wade was overturned, and everyone had a million things to say about why this was the worst thing that could ever happen to our world. And I just found it so shocking how incredibly ironic this sign is. It says, "You're pro-life until the baby is poor, transgender, black, gay, Mexican, disabled, sick, etc." And I've seen so many variations of these graphics. But the ridiculous thing is that it's not "you're pro-life until." What this sign should say is reasons for abortion are, because every single one of these things is a very common justification for why somebody would choose an abortion. What we should be saying is, oh, you're poor, your life still has value. You're transgender, your life still has value. You're black, you're gay, you're Mexican, you're disabled, you're sick. None of those things define you as a human being. What defines you as a human being is that the fact that you're a human being who has intrinsic value. But I think what this proves is just how under a rock most pro-abortion liberals live. They truly believe that every pro-life person is just an old white Republican. And there's a video of this comedian, I don't know who she is or what her name is, that proves just how small of a perspective they have on the pro-life movement.
I got an IUD because the abortion stuff scared the shit out of me. And yeah, but no, abortion's touchy. I don't want to, whatever side of it you're on, the good one, the bad one, I think all of us can just... No, nobody buys that I'm neutral. Who's non-binary and pro-life? That would be insane.
A lot of people, actually, because get this, you don't have to be a conservative white person to believe the crazy notion that human beings have value and shouldn't be murdered. The fact that she genuinely believes that there's not a single person who's non-binary and pro-life or liberal and pro-life is kind of shocking to me. But I guess I shouldn't be shocked because the pro-abortion lobby has put so much effort into creating a narrative that pro-life people are only crazy white people who vote Republican and are probably old men anyways. The reality is that the pro-life movement is an incredibly diverse movement and incredibly widespread. It doesn't matter where you come from or where you grew up or what color skin you are or what your gender orientation is. Human beings deep down know that human beings are valuable. And so it's kind of interesting that she's shocked that people might believe the crazy notion that killing human beings is wrong. But it's also funny that she doesn't know the large group of people who are liberal, who are pro-life. There's Democrats for Life. There's other organizations that are dedicated to people who align themselves with the Democratic Party, who are liberal and are pro-life. Why? Because they can draw a line in the sand and saying killing human beings is wrong. But the reason she doesn't know about this is because the pro-abortion movement doesn't want her to. They want to keep her in a bubble to believe that only the crazy people believe that abortion is wrong and abortion is cool and awesome and funny and you should make jokes about it. But it's also not surprising because who else do they neglect? Who else do they shadow and pretend don't exist? Post-abortive women who say abortion ruined my life. Post-abortive women who say abortion was the worst decision I ever made and I regret it every single day. You never hear their voices. Their experiences are never validated because it doesn't make abortion look good. And so they ignore them. They pretend they don't exist. The media literally silences them. And so then we have people like this who believe that there's no such thing as a pro-life liberal. That's insane. The reality is that that's completely false.
But the abortion stuff it is funny that it's like so many male politicians who are so against it. And I don't mean it's fucked up. I mean it's funny. Because it's men being like, I hate abortion. And it's like, dude, abortion is like kind of the most male way to deal with a problem.
When I hear people like this talk, I'm reminded that they have seriously not done an inch of research, not only about abortion and what abortion is, but the pro-life movement. Have you ever been to the March for Life? Is it a bunch of old white men? No, I mean, some of them are there. Yeah, because old white men can be pro-life and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's majority led by women. And so why is it that anytime liberals and pro-abortion advocates talk about anyone who's against abortion, it's always men, when the reality is that there are women leading the charge that say abortion is wrong? The reason they don't want to talk about that is because they can't have two sides of the narrative. They can't be feminist, pro-women. We believe women and women are awesome and they rule the world. But then when those women say something they don't like, they don't exist anymore. Because they have to. Because how can you say we support women, and then when women say something you don't agree with, then what? Then you have to come to terms with what you're advocating for. Abortion is the brutal murder of innocent children. And it does not matter what political party you align with, you should be acknowledging that that is wrong in all circumstances for any reason. Another thing about this joke that she's making of abortion is such a manly thing. Like, of course men love abortion. Well, the reality is that terrible men do. Why? Because it's a tool of abuse. We have documented proof that men order abortion pills and drug their girlfriends when they refuse to get an abortion. They use it as a tool of abuse to hide the abuse that's happening, to hide and cover up what's going on. They also use it as a threat of, if you do not get an abortion, I'm leaving you. The amount of girls that have gone into a Planned Parenthood because their boyfriend, who got them pregnant, who was ready and committed when he wanted to have sex with her, but then all of a sudden when that sex led to something that maybe he didn't want, he was dropping her off at the abortion facility to get an abortion. Because men oftentimes use abortion as a tool of manipulation and abuse. The reality is we should actually be encouraging young men to stand up and have responsibility. That if you want to have sex with a woman, you may have to actually love her and care for her. And if you create a child, to love and care for that child that is yours. You are now a father and responsible for that human being. Because you know what? Children have a right to their parents. This idea of abortion creates this false narrative that we get to choose when we want to take care of our children. Well, actually, we live in a world that if you neglect and abuse your children, you'll get in trouble and go to jail. But all of a sudden, when it comes to abortion, it's empowering. It's women's rights, and it's what a parent should do. No, a parent should never abuse their child, and abortion is one of the greatest forms of abuse because you are killing your child because it is convenient for you. So this little joke actually reveals a very big issue in our culture with weak men who refuse to take responsibility of their action, and as a result, leave women, the women that she claims to support so much, in the dust and alone. Is that a world we want to live in, where women feel like they have to have an abortion, otherwise their boyfriends will leave them or they'll be alone for the rest of their lives? No, women deserve better than that, which is why being pro-life is an incredibly pro-woman thing to do. And so instead of blaming the child for all the issues in the world, we should start working to support women to where they feel empowered and able to take care of their children and don't feel like they have to sacrifice their offspring in order to be successful in life. So what does this dumb little comedy routine teach us? It teaches us that the pro-abortion movement isn't an echo chamber. They are incredibly unaware of the widespread message of the pro-life movement that is, human beings are valuable. Killing human beings is wrong. Abortion kills a human being. Therefore, abortion is wrong. It's incredibly simple. The other thing we learned is that while pro-abortion advocates advocate for women and hate men, by supporting abortion, they're enabling men and leaving women in the dust. How ironic is that? So it's incredibly important for you to be unapologetically pro-life, to speak truth and love, and to show them what the pro-life movement is, what we do, what we accomplish, how we support women, and how we create a better culture for families.